So you've been playing Genshin for a while and you have some spare cash in your bank account and you think to yourself, I like this game a lot. I want to spend money on something, so let's go check around and see what's up. And then you open up the shop and you see this thing called Blessing of the Welkin Moons and it costs $5. And then you ask yourself, should I buy this? Or consider this, you're an F2P player and you're low on resources and you're looking into buying the Gnostic Hymn or the paid route for the Battle Pass for some resources. You look at it and it's $10. Should you buy it? Well, that's what that video is for. Hello everyone, Ethereal here, and in this video, I will be listing down all the points and all the data and all the information necessary to help you make the decision on whether you should buy the Blessing of the Welkin Moon or the Battle Pass. So, first and foremost, let's get straight to the Blessing of the Welkin Moons, also known as Welkins. The Blessing of the Welkin Moons is a monthly pass that costs $5 American or US dollars. Keep in mind that the prices may differ based on which region you're from. So upon purchase, you will gain 300 Genesis crystals, of which you can exchange on a 1-to-1 ratio into Primogems. On top of that, for 30 days for when you log in, you will receive 90 Primogems, and that totals up to 300 Genesis crystals and 2,700 Primogems over the course of 30 days. If we were to assume that you are going to exchange your Genesis crystals that you've just got into Primogems, you will have roughly 3,000 Primogems over the course of 30 days, assuming that you do not miss a single day of login, because you do not gain those gems if you miss a single day at all. So 3,000 Primogems totals up to a minimum of 18 pulls. So you think to yourself, well, that's quite a lot, but I'm not too sure what these numbers mean. I don't know if I can guarantee my 5-star. Well, here's a freaking table I made in a spreadsheet, and I'm going to be explaining a little bit on how the math is calculated, but I'm going to try to make it simple. So Genshin Impact usually has a 6-week cycle for every patch or every version. So in this table right here, you can see the different rows, the different columns. We have the F2P, who does not spend a single dime in the game, Welkins owner, who buys it within that 6-week cycle, and of course the BP purchaser and the freaking Welkins and BP user. So daily commissions, if you log in and play the game enough, you gain 60 Primogems upon completing that. And if you were to do the Hoyo Lab login, on the 4th, 11th and 18th of every month, you will get 20 gems each, totaling up to 60 gems. And we have the version preview livestream at least 1.5 weeks before the next patch comes live, which if you were to redeem all 3 codes before they expire, you gain 300 gems. And upon the release of the new version, when the new version goes live, you will receive 2 times 300 gems or 600 gems from the maintenance in your mail. And of course, for Spiral Abyss, this number is based on the assumption that you can consistently 36 stars, so you can get like the maximum 600 gems every rotation for the Spiral Abyss. And even if you can't, we can assume you probably can gain roughly 450 to 500 gems if you do Spiral Abyss. And we consider that the shop does reset every month, and we can purchase 5 intertwined fates for a certain amount of Stardust. And then lastly, each event usually guarantees you a minimum amount of 420 gems per. And we assume that every patch has 5 events, so you can kind of look at the numbers and how it adds up. So if you were to look at the numbers right here, you can see that an F2P can roughly gain 8,180 gems every 6 weeks, which is roughly 51 pulls. And you compare that to someone who buys Welkins who plays the same amount, which can gain around 78.5 or roughly 79 pulls. So what is the big difference between an F2P and a Welkins owner? So if you guys are familiar with soft pity, and in case you're wondering what soft pity is, if you never really played Genshin or you're not familiar with gacha games, in Genshin, they guarantee you a 5-star every 90 pulls, but the chances until that amount is generally 0.6% to get a single 5-star. But the moment you hit the 76 pull, the chances of you getting a 5-star increases. So that's when soft pity begins. And generally, we refer the soft pity range from the 76 pull to the 80th pull, and some people consider above 80 pulls to be hard pity, given how the chances are slowly increasing even higher and higher. So back to the main point that I was trying to say. The reason why Welkins gets the big W versus F2P players is that they can guarantee a single 5-star regardless of whether they win 50-50 or lose 50-50 every single patch. And there are some numbers here and there for Battle Pass and Welkins. Feel free to pause the video and look at the image if you have some questions. There are some things that we did exclude. I forgot to update something. This is with the assumption that you can get the Battle Pass to level 50, and we don't count web events, which we do have 1 or 2 every now and again, because we don't really know how much they give depending on when it actually comes out. So, should you buy Welkins? Ask yourself 2 questions. 2 of these specific questions before you make that purchase. Number 1, Is there a character that you wish to pull in the upcoming patch? Like maybe you've heard the announcement or you heard rumors that there is this character that is going to get a rerun next patch and it's getting confirmed on the preview live stream? Or is there some sort of like new character that MiHoYo announced on Twitter? And then moving on to question number 2, do you play Genshin enough to log in every single day for 30 days straight to claim your Primogems from your Welkins? Well, if your answer is yes for both sides, then well, go ahead and spend that $5, Buckery bro. I don't know what the hell I'm saying here. Anyways, let's move on to the advice that I can give as a Welkins buyer for anyone who wishes to buy Welkins in the future. So tip number 1, buy Welkins at least 2 months in advance of the character that you wish to pull in the upcoming version. The reason why is because Welkins is mostly made for people to incentivize them to log in every day and play Genshin consistently every day. So if you play Genshin on and off, you're going to be missing quite a hefty amount of Primogems and you're going to be losing your money's worth of Primogems if you were to buy it. For this case, right, let's say Nahida comes out at 3.2 and you've heard rumors of her, or at least she was around in the Archon Quest back in 3.0. What you can do is that you can probably start buying Welkins at the start of 3.1 or maybe in the middle of 3.0 so that you can stack up enough Primogems and you can guarantee your character. So tip number 2 is that if you know that the character that you're about to get is guaranteed, say you did some math and you've been saving up a lot of Primogems, you have like at least 15,000 Primogems for the character to bypass the 50-50 and guarantee them, consider pre-farming the materials until the day that you get them. Things like farming their Mora, their Hero's Wit, their talent books, and etc. and all their boss materials and ascension materials, assuming you have the information for that. So that when you actually pull for the character day 1 when their banner comes out, you can immediately bring them up to 90, you can give them their best weapons, their best artifacts, and you can just enjoy your new character. Now let's move on to the second thing, whether you should purchase this or not. Battle Pass. We've heard of this in every single game. You know what happened to Overwatch 2, so I'm not really gonna say anything. Battle Pass is basically everywhere in literally every AAA live service video game, and it's a very common thing in gacha games. So the current Battle Pass in Genshin, we have 3 paths. We have the free route, also known as the Sojourner's Battle Pass. We have the $10 route, which is the Gnostic Hymn, and then we have the $20 paid route, which is the Gnostic Chorus. And keep in mind that if you were to purchase Battle Pass, the rewards you would get on the different paths are cumulative. So let's say everyone has access to the free path, right? The freaking Sojourner's Battle Pass. So if you were to buy the Gnostic Hymn, you will gain rewards from both the free route and the paid route, and it totals up to even more resources when you are to claim them. So if you look at this chart right here, you can kind of see that when you are in F2P and you don't pay for the Gnostic Hymn, the amount of Mora you'll get is 720k, which is roughly about slightly over a day of resin on farming Mora and a good amount of rocks, about 100 rocks, 36 Hero's Wits. You don't gain access to any of the talent books, you cannot gain access to the Battle Pass weapon, and you gain 5 Aquain Fates and 5 Rider Resins. I'd argue that this is actually pretty decent, given that a lot of other Battle Passes in different games, they have some levels where they don't really give you anything. So I would argue that honestly Genshin's Battle Pass is one of the better Battle Passes out there, but you know, let's not talk about that for that. We'll leave that for another day. And if you were to purchase the Gnostic Hymn, which is $10 US, prices may differ, you get quadruple the amount of resources, but keep in mind that this is cumulative with the free path. So rather than 700k Mora, you have 2,800 Mora, literally almost 400 rocks, a whole lot of Heroes Wit. On top of that, this is where the value for your purchase comes in. So you could claim the talent books of the 2 latest regions. So generally, you can choose up to 15 blue talent books and 5 purples of the 2 latest regions. So let's say if you were to buy the Battle Pass right now, you can claim the Sumeru talent books and the Inazuma talent books. Keep in mind that that is how the rotation is for now, and I think they're going to keep doing this for the 2 latest region to put their talent books on the Battle Pass. So if you want access to Mondstadt anyway, well, shame, you just miss your chance to get that, but it's a very minor thing. And here's another value for your purchase is the Battle Pass weapon. I'll make a separate video on which Battle Pass weapon is good or which Battle Pass weapon is worth, or just to kind of help people who purchase it to just see like, okay, to help them make a decision on which Battle Pass weapon is worth it. But generally, all of them are crit rate statistics. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are alright, but generally it's very good. And then you also gain 4 Fates and 680 Primogems and 5 extra Fragile Resins. Aside from getting more Primogems, the extra Fragile Resin is pretty good, especially if you need to farm for a character who utilizes a new boss or a new material that's only available in a new region and you need the resin for that. And lastly, we have the Gnostic Chorus, which is the $20 paid route. In terms of resources, you don't really gain anything different. The only thing special about the Gnostic Chorus is that you gain a free Battle Pass theme name card for that specific season, and you gain a Battle Pass specific furnishing blueprint. And you also gain 5 more Primogems. So yeah, we have that. And the only other thing about the Battle Pass is that you can pay a certain amount of, I believe it was either Genesis Crystals or Primogems to accelerate 1 to 10 levels if you want to get the rewards early, but you know, let's not consider that. So, should you buy Battle Pass? Here are some questions that you can consider before making that purchase. 1. Do you need the resources immediately? So let's say you got a new character and you loan resources and you don't feel like waiting 3-4 weeks or maybe a month to farm resources for your character. You gotta wait for that resin refresh. So yeah, keep that in mind, that if you really need the resources right now and if you can play the game consistently enough to get the BP to level 50, then you could probably go for that. Question number 2. Can you consistently reach BP level 50? Or can you reach the maximum level of the Battle Pass for that patch of which you need to make the purchase? Because keep in mind that the Battle Pass has a bunch of daily, weekly, and specific challenges that you have to do, of which requires you to play the game. Because if you don't do these, chances are you're going to be missing on a lot of resources, Primogems, and a lot of rewards from the Battle Pass in general. And the final question is, are you aiming for the Battle Pass weapon? Let's say you got a character like Tartaglia and you heard that Viridescent Hunt is like really good on it. And you also have some spare cash that you want to spend. So if any of these questions, when you ask yourself and your answer is yes, then yeah, go ahead and buy it. And now moving on, here are some of my advices that I can give for future Battle Pass owners. Number 1, for talent books, try to go for the talent book that your character needs. Like let's say you get Nahida, then let's say Nahida uses, I don't know, Admonition. Maybe you can grab those books to reduce the amount of time you need to farm for the talent book domain for her. Or you could also get the talent books that you are very low in stock on. Like let's say maybe you don't really have any characters that need the talent book, or you're not really leveling up anyone right now. You can probably check up your stock and see how much you have and try to take the ones that you have the least of. Number 2, if you want to choose the weapon from the Battle Pass, do some research and make sure to find out which choice will benefit your account the most. Because keep in mind that every Battle Pass is essentially seasonal, or rather per patch. So if you want to get another weapon or another refinement, you probably have to wait for the next patch, and it's still going to take quite a lot of time to build up the levels. Number 3, save the fragile resins that you get regardless of whether you choose to buy the Battle Pass or not, because you get the most value out of fragile resins if you use it on bosses to farm for character essential materials, simply because there are some characters that are released at the same day as the new version or the new patch, and the material that they use is from a boss that just came out. And let's say, like for my case, let's say I got Shenhe, right? It was patch 2.4 and Enkanomiya just came out. So I had to use all my fragile resins to immediately bring my Shenhe to level 90 because I already pre-farmed a lot of resources. Never ever use your fragile resins for artifact farming. This is coming from someone who has done that before, and it's not worth it. The artifact RNG is so bad. You're better off just farming artifacts last when you really have nothing else better to do. You don't have any characters to level up or any weapons or characters to just kind of make them stronger. So yeah. Anyways, I hope all these things, all this information, the numbers and the documents help you guys in making your decision. Make sure to really spend some time to research and think, because at the end of the day, you are spending money on a video game and that money is not coming back. So just make sure that if you want to buy Battle Pass, Welkins, or you want to spend money on Genshin or any game or whatever, do your due diligence and research, just to make sure that the money that you pay is worth Also, there'll be a link down in the description. I have Google Sheets that I made tallying up all the different information that is relevant to characters, things like how much materials you need to bring a character to level 90, or how much materials do weapons need to level up, or what boss ascension material do I need for the weeklies, and etc. So yeah, go check out the Google Sheet. It is free for viewing. Feel free to use it and share it with your friends or anyone else in the community if you find it useful. And if you have any feedback, just leave it in the comments. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, give it a sub if you want to stick around. I'll try to make more of these kind of really helpful videos that no one else has done for Genshin. And if you have any sort of feedback or anything to say, just comment down below. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.